The feast beyond the veil. It begins, as all such stories do, with hunger. Not the hunger of the flesh, but the hollowness that gnaws at the soul when the gods no longer answer. In such emptiness voices rise, old voices, forgotten, or worse, remembered only by the dark. I have walked the ruined halls where this tale first took root. I have traced the glyphs carved in teeth and tasted the dust where they once dined. The children call it a banquet, but it was no feast. No, it was the first mouthful of the end. Let me show you what he wrote before the hunger took him.
Journal of Calestrine, Virelian archive scholar of heretical texts. 7th of Gloam Hollow, 3rd cycle of frost. I have begun my study into a thread of whispered apocrypha, text fragments so obscure that even the archivists treat them as myth. The glyphs speak of a rite known only as the unset table, a rite of communion, or consumption, or both. It appears again and again, scratched into tomb walls, hidden in apocryphal glossaries, and once in the ravings of a condemned priest. A table that feeds itself, he'd written, and eats the names of gods.
He was not the first to read the name, he was only the first to believe it.
9th of Gloam Hollow. The dreams began last night. I stood in a stone hall, impossibly wide, impossibly deep. A banquet table stretched into blackness. There were guests, masked, unmoving, with eyeless stares beneath hollow bone. A figure sat at the head of the table. It had no face, no identity, just absence. I awoke with a hunger that felt like grief.
The dreams are invitations. The soul hears them before the ears do.
10th of Gloam Hollow. I met a man, or perhaps a priest, though no sigil marked him, in the north courtyard. He said only, "You are invited," then placed in my hand a sliver of black ivory, cold, slick, beating with a pulse not my own. When I turned to question him, he was gone. But I knew the answer anyway. I held the shard to my lips. I do not know why.
You never do. Not until the third bite.
11th. I have not eaten in a day, not because I forgot, but because I cannot. Bread smells of rot. Wine turns black in the cup. Even spring water feels wrong on my tongue. But I kept the shard close, and when I pressed it to my breast in the silence of the archives, I swear I heard a voice. It said, "The table awaits." 13th. I don't remember how I arrived at the gathering. The walls were alive with carvings, pictograms of feasting, of hunger, of things fed that should not be. The table was vast, its surface wet and whispering. There were 13 seated, but shadows shifted behind them, as though others were watching through cracks in the world. The figure at the head of the table was cloaked in veils of blood and silk. I could not see its face, but I knew it was looking at me. A voice spoke, "Eat, or be eaten." A robed celebrant beside me whispered the words I did not know I knew. The shepherd of men, Tyrannus, in fear of the Moor, carved 5 chains of sacred law. The room echoed as the others chanted, "But the body is a gate, and the gate was meant to open." And then we ate. They chanted not just to eat, but to awaken. Beneath the table, beneath the stone, I felt it. A pulse, a hunger, as if something huge and ancient turned in its sleep below us. One of them whispered, "Not to me, but to the food. Drink deep, for the glutton below watches."
And he ate, and he saw.
Some still moved, others were quiet, but not still. I was served something pale, translucent, pulsing. My fingers shook. I tore it in half. It screamed. I put it in my mouth, and my eyes opened.
Truth is not light. Truth is not freedom. Truth is hunger without end.
14th. I do not sleep. I do not hunger. But I remember the taste. They have given me a new name. It hums behind my teeth, waiting to be spoken. We are preparing. The first feast was but a foretaste. The great banquet comes when the world breaks, when the veil parts, and all truths are laid bare. We are the children now, and we are always hungry.
He who wrote these words now walks the feast eternal. His name is forgotten, replaced by something that writhes when spoken. The table is set across Eldrath now in ruined keeps under defiled chapels, beneath silent cities. The children whisper to the starving and sing to the lost. And when you hear the clatter of unseen dishes, when you feel a hunger that is not yours, you've already been invited. Perhaps one day, I will be invited too. They say the table is set, that the glutton stirs below, dreaming of flesh and memory. When he wakes, the world will be the feast,